Hi everybody, welcome to class. My name is Mark, I'll be your instructor. This is going to be a very brief English 111 class. There's only 8 weeks, but it's a 16-week course, which means we have to do double the work. But I'm sure everybody is up for this. I'm excited about the semester starting. And the purpose of this video today is to walk you through the first 2 weeks of the course. That's 2 weeks in a 16-week session, but we'll be doing both of those 2 weeks in one. So let's get into the course. I'll give you a little tour around the place, and then we'll get started on what you have to do. Let's go to Start Here and see what we can find. The syllabus. You can get the syllabus anytime you want, but I recommend you print a copy along with the course calendar. It'll help keep you on track. And I want to point out a few things on the syllabus that I think are important. I'm not going to read through the whole thing because, well, you can all read and you'll read it yourself later. I have found in all the times that I've been an instructor at Ivy Tech that the students that stay in the most contact with me absolutely do the best. And because I am an adjunct, I'm not a full-time Ivy Tech instructor, I don't have office hours and I don't have a campus phone number you can call. But if you need to reach out to me, my first preference is that you text me. That's the best way to get a hold of me. My phone goes with me everywhere, just like yours does, and I've always got it. The only thing I ask when you text me is that you mention who you are, because I may not recognize everybody's number. So feel free to text me anytime. If you want to call me, you're welcome to do that as well. And notice I have a toll-free number. You can call that anytime, within reason. Don't call me at 3 a.m. I'm too busy studying the insides of my eyelids at 3 a.m. Here's my Ivy Tech email address, and you can also use my enterprise account, which is mstenger@MetLife. There's my Blackboard Instant Messenger ID, although I'm not on that as much as I probably should be. And here is my Twitter account. I use Twitter a lot. I don't tweet very often about things going on in class, but if you are a Twitter user, you can send me a direct message. Again, it comes to my phone just like the text messages do, and you can reach me that way. And I'll probably follow you back. There's my instructor's name. If you want to go over my head, there is the online learning coordinator, Alyssa Leap. I'm not going to read through all this. That would take too long. There is no textbook for this course. Well, there is really, but it's within the class. So you don't have a physical book, and I'll show you where the textbook is in a short while. Dates and deadlines, of course, those are very important, and they're all in the course calendar, which we will also look at here in just a few minutes. Paper format requirements. Notice it says all drafts and final drafts have to be done in APA or MLA style. In this course, we are only using MLA. We won't be using APA. Why they put both there, who knows? But I'll give you some advice about MLA in just a little bit later in this recording. There's a section on plagiarism. Course communication, again, if I already covered that, text me. It's the best way. There are no tests or exams in this course. You have 4 writing projects, and there are also several other minor assignments, discussion boards, grammar exercises, plagiarism exercises, things like that. Those are usually short little quizzes that you take within Blackboard. They're pretty easy. If you're paying attention at all, you're going to do great on those. Grading scale and disability services. Yeah, look at that. She's got the same last name I do. It's because it's my wife. All right, print that off. You're going to need it. let's go back to the course. You'll get one of these videos every week. I think these work better than me putting an announcement out because, well, not everybody reads it, and if they do read it, they don't always get the gist entirely of what I'm trying to say, and I just find these videos work better. If you look in YouTube under my name in English 111, you'll see a lot of these. That's because every time I do an online course, this is how I prefer to do it. Here's the course calendar. And let's see what we've got. Again, this course is set up to be 16 weeks, but because we're taking a condensed 8-week version, the due dates, there are 2 for each week. Again, print this off, highlight it, it'll keep you on track. So the first several things you're going to do will be due Sunday, June 14th, and things are always due on a Sunday night. Due Sunday night by 11:59. If you ever find yourself in a circumstance where, for whatever reason, you're not going to be able to turn something in by the Sunday night deadline at 11:59 p.m., text me. Tell me what's going on, and we'll try and come up with a response. But that rarely happens in the classes that I've taught in the past. And as you follow along, the first assignments were due on June 14th, next ones are due on June 21. And you notice every week there's always 2 sections that are due. So print that off, hang on to it. So let's take a look at what we have to do for our first 2 class sessions, because we'll be covering 2 sessions every week. Course orientation. We've already looked at the syllabus and the calendar. Great. Here's what you have to do for the first half of the first week. You have to look at the syllabus, the Blackboard Student User Guide. If you've taken an online class before and you think you know Blackboard pretty well, you could probably skip that. There are guidelines for effective emails and messages. That's not required. If you think you need to look at it, well, it's there for you. You have to read 2 chapters for the first half of this week, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And then there is a PowerPoint, which I'll show you in a short while, that you'll be writing about. So those are the learning activities. Here are the assignments and the assessments. Introductions, discussion board. Blackboard syllabus exercise. It's a short quiz. It's very easy. Test run assignment and your first writing project. Which picture does your process look like? So let's take a look at these one at a time, and first go to the discussion board. This one's not graded. There's not a minimum or a maximum number of words. It's just so I can get to know you a little bit better, and your peers can get to know you a little better as well. So the first 2 discussion boards that we have listed are the Help Forum and the Cyber Cafe. Those don't get used very often, quite honestly, but they're there if you need them. So let's look at Session 1 Introductions. There's already 1 introduction in there because I put it in there myself. And if you click on my title, ta-da, you can read what I wrote. When you're ready to write yours, simply click on Create Thread. You have to give it a title, otherwise it won't accept it. And then you could say whatever you'd like for us to know. Is this your first semester at Ivy Tech? Is it your last? What do you do in your free time? What sort of family do you have? Anything you want to say. Again, it's ungraded. It's just kind of for fun and to get everybody working in the class. Let's go back to class sessions and take a look at what else remains for session 1. Blackboard syllabus exercise, test run assignment, and session 1 and session 2 discussion. What picture does your writing process look like? There's the syllabus, Blackboard, and student user guide. Again, that's supplemental. You don't have to look at it. Guidelines for effective emails and messages. Again, you don't have to look at it. Here is the textbook. I'm not going to open it, but the entire book is there, and Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are what you have to read. The way this course is set up, there's a lot of reading in the beginning, not as much by the end of the course, because there's a lot more writing. And then the PowerPoint, which picture does your writing process look like? So let's open that. In case you're wondering, I did not pick these images. I think some of them are kind of goofy, but this is what they gave me. Once you open that up, click on Enable Editing, and if you want to see this full screen, hit the F5 key, and it'll bring it up like that. And what you're being asked to do is pick one of these pictures that appeals to you. I've got some crazy arrow thing going on. I'm not even sure what that is. Kind of looks like a tiger, or maybe a tidal wave. That's the food pyramid. And on and on. 4th of July, maybe. Look through those. One of them, I hope, will appeal to you and will give you some fodder to answer the following question. Go to Session 1 and Session 2 discussion boards, not the introductions, and write about 200 words following the prompts that are listed there. It does give you more detail about which picture represents your writing process. Whether you're organized, disorganized, fearless, fearful, that's up to you. Let's go back to the class. So Session 1 introductions, that's where you write about yourself. Session 2, there's none listed there. This is where you will introduce your first writing project by following these prompts. Tell us which picture you picked, not just the number. Explain why you picked it. Point out an advantage that the image symbolizes. And review the 10 core concepts from Chapter 2. Hint, it helps to have that chapter open while you're looking at this. And you need to write about 200 words. I wish they gave us better pictures to pick from, but they didn't. That is for the first one. And in the second half of this first week, you will also write a response to two other students and talk about their choice. Did you like it? Did it work for you? Do you get what they're trying to say? Did you dislike it? You're allowed to be disagreeable in this course, provided you are polite, of course. So you'll write 200 words in your original post, and then you're going to write 2 responses of about 100 words each. So 400 words total. I'll be honest with you, I don't go through and count the number of words that you write. I think just about all of us could tell when something is about the right length. Back to class sessions. Assignments and assessments. By the way, did you see this one? Tutor.com? Pretty cool. And what I like about this, and I encourage this, especially when we get later in this short summer session, you can send them a draft of something you've written 24/7. They'll review it for you, make suggestions, and drop it right back to you. You're getting another set of eyes that'll proofread for you. Why would you not want to take advantage of that? I got my graduate degree from IU, Indiana University, and we had an on-campus writing center. And even though I've been a student for a long time, before I turned in a draft to one of my instructors, I gave it to the writing center to proofread for me. It's a pretty good idea. Okay, discussion board, introduction, so we did that. Here is the syllabus Blackboard exercise. It's a short quiz. Now, I'm not going to start this because, number one, I don't want to take that much time. Number two, you're going to do this yourself. When you take this, since you're going to print out the syllabus, have it in front of you when you do this. Simply click on Begin. It won't take you very long. Test run assignment. You can read this, follow the instructions. It is worth a couple of minor points. They're easy. The one thing I want to point out to you is that you are required in this course to use Word. Now, if you have an Apple product, you're going to have to borrow somebody else's laptop PC. Go to the library, whatever you have to do. And that's because even though it opens just fine for you, and even though I have software that will allow me to open it, if you're not using Microsoft Word when I read it, it ends up looking screwy for a lot of different reasons. And I can't tell if it's looking screwy because that's how you wrote it, or if it's looking screwy because that's how it came across. But if you use Word, you're going to be good. And you can download Word for free from the Microsoft 360 Pro Plus package through Ivy Tech. It doesn't cost anything to get the software. And yes, Word does work on Apple products. If you have a MacBook, you can add that just fine. Just follow these very simple instructions. This is an easy one. There's some hard things you have to do in this course, and there are some easy things you have to do in this course. Make sure you get all the easy stuff done. It'll help you down the road. And here is where you can go to session 1 and session 2 discussion. Which picture is your writing process like? We've already talked about that, so I'm not going to open it up again. Just remember, your first post describing the image should be 200 words, and you have to respond to 2 other students. There's 10 of you in the class, 100 words each. So you're writing about 400 words. How long is 200 words? It's a couple of paragraphs, no more than that. And it's not turned in necessarily in a Word document because this is a discussion board. That is it for the first half of week 1. Let's take a look at the second half in session 2. I think there's a couple fewer things to do in session 2, but they're a little bit bigger. So let's take a look. There's the learning objectives and content. I won't read those to you because you can read yourself. There is more reading. Chapter 3, Chapter 19, and Chapter 23. You're going to turn in your first writing project to me, writing project 1. Relax, it's just a draft. This is not a final version. If you follow the steps and you turn it in, you get some points for turning it in. I will help you make it better when you turn in the final version. There are only 4 writing assignments in this course, and they start off pretty small, and then they get bigger to the research paper at the end. Just relax. We are going to follow steps 1 through 6 on writing project 1, the core reading. There's a PowerPoint that you should take a look at on describing, summarizing, and responding. There are brochures on plagiarism, and there are 2 supplemental resources. I want to point out the word supplemental to you, as in supplemental resources, plagiarism resources, and APA or MLA format. You don't have to do these if you don't think you need them. If you think you do, then they're available to you. If you're already good with MLA format, then don't bother looking at it. If you're a little unsure, take a look. They don't take that long. Session 2, assignments and assessments. This is responses to your peers, to 2 of them, about what they posted about their image. There's a plagiarism exercise and your first draft. Notice the first draft is only worth 5 points more than the plagiarism exercise. And that's because we're kind of breaking it in slowly. All right, let's take a look at the, oh look, tutor.com is there again. I think they want you to use it. Let's take a look at the learning activities. Again, click on this link, it'll open the textbook, read through those. 3 chapters, I know it's a lot. It will get better. All right, 2 important things. Writing project 1, summary and response steps 1 through 6, and the core readings. The core readings are separate from the text. I'll explain those in just a minute. This is the list of instructions for every writing project we will do in this short semester. Don't worry about all of them right now. Just go to writing project 1. I recommend you don't look ahead. Just focus on what we have to do right now. No need to get worked up quite yet. Okay. Again, this is a long document that has 10 steps. You're only doing the first 6. Don't worry about any steps after 6 until the next week. We'll get to it. You're going to pick one of the core readings. Notice it says selected by your instructor. That doesn't mean I'm picking a core reading for you. It means I picked the readings that are available to you. You get to pick your own. So for this assignment, you're going to describe the core reading, summarize, and respond. The audience is me and the other members of the class, and that's because once you turn in your draft, we're going to review it for you. Everybody in the class, for every assignment that you turn in, and I'm talking about your writing projects here, will always get back from me a document that shows you what I thought you did well and what still needs some work. That way, when you turn in the final project, if you take to heart and look at what I've pointed out to you, you're probably going to do pretty well. You don't have to agree with me 100% of the time, but when I grade the final version, I do look at the draft again to see how much it has changed, how much it has improved. Your first draft is going to be 600 words and 750 words for the final draft, because we'll probably point out to you what you need to say more about. It is only MLA style. We'll talk about that later. What it should look like. And number 4, have something to say. Number 5, back up what you say. And number 6, turn it in. And when you turn in your assignments to me, you always have to turn them into 2 places. Don't go past number 6. Worry about the rest of those later. Let's go back to class sessions and session number 2. See what else is there. Excuse me, my voice is going a little bit today. I've been talking too much. I think it's under here. I should know, right? Yep, core readings. So this is where we just were, looking at the steps for writing project 1. Here are the core readings. And the core readings are articles, sometimes they're videos, sometimes they're magazine articles that you can review and pick one to write about. And they're arranged by subject: experiencing education, justice, sustainability, food, inequalities, literacy, social networking. Do you have to read through all of these? God, no, that would take forever. You don't have that much time. Pick a folder, and we'll just take the first one. And notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles, 6 articles in one video. And you can pick one or two, skim through them. Don't read the whole thing. You'll know in the first couple of paragraphs if it's something that you're going to like, something that appeals to you. For example, Sherman Alexie, who happens to be one of my favorite authors. I think he's one of the greatest living writers in the United States because he's funny, but he still makes a point. There's an introduction about Alexie, and you notice up here, this essay is 6 pages long. So start to skim it. You don't have to like Sherman Alexie just because I do. If you think it's something that's pretty good, then you can continue reading. After the first paragraph or two, if you don't like it, close it out, pick another one. The Alexie one was 6 pages. This one is 7. It doesn't have the introduction that Alexie's does, but that's okay. This one's a little more dense. Again, start to skim it. If you don't like it, pick the next one. You will find something in here that you can write about. This one's actually an online magazine article, and it's shorter. If I were a student in this class, I would always pick the short one, but that's me. Doesn't really matter how long the original article is. Okay, we just looked at one of the folders. Pick a folder with a title that interests you, skim through. When you find one you like, stop. Then you're done. Then take Writing Project 1's instructions, steps 1 through 6, follow them, you'll be fine. 600 words. Let's go back to folder 2. Assignments and assessments. I think we got through everything in learning activities. Let me double check. I'm making this up as I'm going along, can you tell? There's the PowerPoint on summarizing, responding, and brochures on plagiarism and supplemental plagiarism resources. Oh, one more thing. As I mentioned, we only use MLA format in this class. If you're not familiar with that, I'll give you a very brief, and I mean very brief, overview of what that should look like. This is a paper I wrote in my last semester of graduate school, so just this past March. And there's just a couple of simple things I want to point out to you. In an MLA paper, there's never a cover sheet. Don't include one. Notice in the upper right-hand corner of the page, it has my last name and page number 1. And as we scroll through this, yep, it's there on page 2, and so on. It goes all the way down to, how long was this paper? Oh, 9 pages. My works cited page, page 10. So you should always have your last name, page number, double space, and then follow this format. Now, I was the student when this was written, so my name is listed first. On yours, it'll have your first and last name only, double space, then the instructor. Now, this was my instructor last time, but that's where you'll put my name. The course I was taking was English L641. In your case, you're simply going to write English, as it's spelled out here, 111, and then the date. Notice 2 things about the date. It's in an odd format. We don't walk around saying 13 March. We say March 13th. but in MLA format, the date is listed first, then the month, then the year. Now, what date do you use? In MLA, the date that you need to list is the date the assignment is due. This first assignment will be due on Sunday, June 14th. So right here, it should say 14 June 2015, not the date you started working on it. Maybe you started writing this on June 10th. That's great. You're getting an early start, but don't put 10 June. It's due the 14th. The 14th should be listed. And notice that there's double spaces between all of these. We only write in Times New Roman 12-point font. There is a title, and MLA always requires a title, and it's always centered. All of your paragraphs should be indented. And looks like I had about 2 paragraphs on the first page. That's a good number. If you've got 5 paragraphs on a page, then your paragraphs are too short. If you've got 1 paragraph on a page, well, you could pull that off, but it better be all related to the same thought. Okay, that's my brief tutorial on MLA. Your last name, page number. Your first and last name here, mine here, English 111 here, the date, 14 June 2015 there, the title should probably refer to whatever article you're writing about, or writing project 1, and then begin. Okay. I know this is kind of a long tutorial video, but we're covering 2 weeks worth of content. It kind of has to be. And again, you'll get a new video from me every week. I think we're getting close to the end. Assignments and assessments. This should be the last part. There's the discussion board. We've already talked about that. The plagiarism exercise. I won't go through this, just show you where it is. Click on begin. It's 10 questions, I think. If you don't do well the first time, you can take it again. Although I think these are easy enough that I'm sure everybody's going to do great on it. And the writing project. You have to turn it in 2 places. One comes directly to me, and one goes through a plagiarism checking resource. It's only 15 points. That's not a lot, but we're breaking it in slowly, and it'll give you a chance to see how I like to see things established, because you're going to get feedback from me before the final. This is where you go to send the assignment to me. Notice there's a box here for comments. You don't have to say anything in this box. You can say, "Hi Mark, here's my assignment. Have a nice day. Hi Mark, here's my assignment. You suck," whatever you want to say. But save your assignment to a flash drive, to your desktop, to a file folder somewhere. Click on Browse, identify your file, and then hit Open. I'm not going to do that now because I'm not actually turning this in. Your assignment should never go here. This box for comments is just to say hi. Don't put the essay there. And then click on Submit. All right, that's where it goes to come to me. Again, you have to turn it in twice. You're also going to turn it in here. Create a thread. The subject should be maybe your last name, writing project 1, the title of your essay, whatever you'd like to say. Don't put your essay here. Use it as an attachment, browse your computer, find the file, click open, and attach it as a Word document. There are 10 of us in this class, well, 11 if you count me, and you're going to read 2 of them and give them some feedback. Did you like what they had to say? Do you think they did a good job summarizing? What did you think of what they wrote? Give them some feedback. And you're going to get feedback as well. The whole point of this is to help you improve your first draft. It's just a draft, it's not the final project. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're putting some ideas together. Next week, we'll talk about turning in the final version. And you need to write a peer response of about 200 words when we get to the responses, but we're not to that yet. I know this course is a lot of work because it's condensed. I know you can handle it too. Hopefully nobody's freaking out or wigging out on me just yet. Of course, you can always turn it into tutor.com before you send in your draft. Or you can send in your draft, get feedback from me, get feedback from your peers, and then turn it into tutor.com for a proofreading session. Why not? It's up to you. It's free. All right, I want to be sure I didn't misstate one thing. During week 1, you're required to write your first draft of writing project 1. It will be proofread by me. It will be proofread by 2 other people in the course. But you don't have to do that proofreading until next week. Just concentrate on getting the draft. All right. That was a lot, wasn't it? But that's it. 2 class sessions in this first week. Again, welcome to class. I look forward to meeting everybody and working with you. If you want to reach out to me, text me 812-498-4200. If you want to call me, 800-416-1747. My email address is mstenger and the number 1 at Ivy Tech, or mstenger@metlife, that's metlife.com. Welcome to class, everybody. I know that was a lot. This will get better as we go along. Have a great week.